It's the man YSN, and you're listening to YSN Radio. Yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir. I know what time it is, man. I'm rocking with the man YSN, and you're tuning in to the episode of YSN Radio, the coolest podcast in the South. Got a very special guest on the line with me right now, a singer, actress, the whole nine yards. Got this amazing song out called Think About Me. I got the one and only Miss 2012 on the line. How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good. First off, thank you for joining us today. I just got done listening to the Think About Me song, and it is a hit. You got one on your hands right here. So, talking about how did this record come together?
Man, I was in the studio with Faro and him Logic, and Faro had a track that we were making everything from scratch. We were locked in for like 2 weeks, and there was just one beat that was already like made beforehand, and Faro was like, oh, I've been meaning to like let you listen to it. And so immediately as I heard it, I was like, we need to like lay this down today. So I wrote it, and that was that. The vibes were cool. It was easy.
I feel you. So what is like the overarching message that you want people to get out this record?
Definitely. It's more of like a relatable song. It's definitely like, okay, I have a crush on someone, and I hope they're thinking about me. So I would just, somebody out there would relate to it.
I feel you. I feel that. I feel like we've all definitely had a crush on somebody.
Yeah.
Right, for sure. So let's take it all the way back to the beginning. So 2012, where did you come up from? How was you like growing up, and how'd you get into music?
I am from Atlanta, Georgia, born and raised. I started, oh my gosh, at like 3 years old. My mom put me into like modeling and dancing. And so I did like tap and ballet and stuff. And eventually, as I got older and I would watch all these music videos, I was like, Ma, like I have to get into like hip hop. So she found this program, this summer camp that I would go to every summer. And it was an acting, singing, dancing camp based in Atlanta, Georgia. So from the age of 7 all the way to like 14, I was going there. They 3 years later put me into a girl group, and they trained us, and then we came out when I was like 12. And from there it was like, I've always known that music was something I wanted to do, but from there it was definitely like, okay, yeah, this is it. So now I am a solo artist, and I'm doing my thing.
For sure. So when you were in that girl group, what were some of the things that you learned during that experience that you still carry to this day?
Oh my gosh, so much. So much of the training and the work ethic, and I think just being so young and learning a lot about the industry, it definitely put me like steps ahead as far as like, how to act and courtesy and shaking people's hands, remembering people's names. So much. It's definitely taught me a lot.
Right, no, for sure. I feel like those soft skills, a lot of people tend to look over those, especially in music. It's so easy to get caught up like, oh, I can make good songs, I can sing, I can rap, but like you said, remembering people's names, shaking hands and things like that, that's what really gets the connections made right there.
Yeah.
No, for sure. So coming out of Atlanta, you feel me? I'm in Tennessee. So Atlanta is literally like 2.5 hours away from me. It's one of my favorite cities. And, I've always said Atlanta is the black mecca of literally anything, entertainment, real estate, law, whatever you want to do. If you black, Atlanta is the place to go. So from your perspective, as a native ATLian, how do you feel like that growing up in that environment helped with your music?
I definitely feel like it just catapulted everything. I grew up, my father, he does quartet, and I would go to his rehearsals, like they'd be in church just rehearsing, or just always around live instruments, always around live music and instruments. So that and just, ATL, we got like hip hop on like a lockdown, like rap.
Oh, yeah.
Like we've got that on lockdown. So I definitely grew up hearing like Outkast and listening to like Erica at a young age. One of my favorite artists is Stevie Wonder. So there was always a lot of music around for me. And being in Atlanta, it was like everywhere you go, there's history of music or just history in general. So
No, for sure. So who are some of your inspirations growing up? Stevie Wonder
oh my
being one
God.
of them. So who are some others?
Yeah, oh my gosh, like Outkast, Lauryn Hill, Erica, Jill Scott, performing, definitely like Sierra, Beyonce, Michael. Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure. I feel like it's crazy because Michael Jackson's the 15th anniversary of his passing was literally like yesterday, which is crazy how fast
Yes.
time flies. But I've always said that Michael Jackson was literally the best performer, artist, literally every like we've ever seen in this generation. It's crazy he's been gone for 15 years, but just the fact
Mhm.
that like the way he danced, I don't know if you've heard like acapellas of like his songs before, but like um
Yeah,
uh,
yes. Oh my gosh.
unmatched, man.
Yeah.
So, with those inspirations, I like how you said that Beyonce, Sierra, they're very well known for their performances. So, how do you channel that energy into your own act?
I when I was in the girl group, of course, that was like immediately because their music, they go for the pop or like the upbeat R&B. Whereas now my stuff it's different from that. It's I like to do more like contemporary as far as performing now, or like things that are just a little more artistic, um, but still giving like a show. I love to put on like a show. So yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure. I like how you describe that contemporary and artsy music. I feel like a lot of times, especially with black artists, no matter what music you make, they try to put you in either the box of hip hop or R&B. It's not a lot of people like black people that get credit for being in the middle. I mean, Tyler the Creator, he said it himself when he won an Grammy for this album. That he wouldn't necessarily classify it as rap, but more so like contemporary music. So, as someone who identifies as a contemporary artist, how do you feel as an artist or an African American woman in contemporary? What struggles do you feel like, or challenges that you face? People like understanding that instead of just putting you in a box of R&B or pop.
I really love that question because I definitely feel that being a Black woman and kind of just making the kind of music like you listen to Tyler. I feel like people who listen to Tyler automatically get it because that means
Yeah.
you listen to a lot of other people,
Right.
Your ear is like way more diverse, whereas like off bat, not everyone's is, or not everyone understands. And I think that is kind of like the struggle. For example, when Erica first came out, a lot of people were like, who is this weird Black girl?
Mm.
Versus now they're like, oh my gosh, this like cool Black girl, like her style, her swag, and she's just consistently been herself. So that's why I'm like, and Solange too.
Yeah.
Not everybody understands at first, but eventually they will. So for me, I'm like, I'm staying true to myself. I don't really care what people have to say. I'm gonna be so honest with you. And at the end of the day, who's gonna rock with me will rock with me.
No, for sure, and that's how it's supposed to be. You feel me? Because people gonna hate regardless. So your ball got to keep rolling.
Right. Yeah, like I'm not worried. No.
Facts. So, why do you think that is a stigma within our community so much that people who do deviate from the status quo of blackness per se? Why do you think we get so much flack for that?
I would say, when you're used to things, when you're comfortable with things, that's what it is. You're comfortable. And I think that the people who are thinking outside of the box, because we've pushed ourselves past a comfortable place to where like mentally, spiritually, and artistically, we're going to places that we're uncomfortable in, and then we get comfortable there, and then we're like, okay, what's next? Creatively, what's next? Like, where some people are like, no, this is what I'm used to, so I'm gonna stay over here. And then eventually they're like, oh, wait a minute, that's not too bad. But it takes people, other people making that uncomfortable decision to then have everyone be like, oh, you know what? This is cool.
Right. No, yeah, I feel like we definitely need trailblazers to show people, like you said, that stuff is cool. I feel like Erykah Badu is a fantastic example that you listed earlier because, I feel like she's definitely on the Mount Rushmore of neo soul.
And Tyler.
Exactly. You know, like it's so many, but I feel like with people like Erica Badu, we couldn't get people like Tyler or Ari Lennox, or these people who are pushing the boundaries of what African Americans are capable of doing in music. I know I like to see now we're starting to infiltrate the country space. I don't know if you did you listen to Beyonce's country album?
I sure did. I
How did,
sure did.
how did you like it?
I thought it was beautiful. I really did. And she definitely put more Black artists, more Black country artists on the map. There's already been Black country artists, but I feel like her knowing that she has such a high pedestal in this industry and just proving to the people who felt like, oh, she's not gonna go there, she can't go there. Like, yeah, I did. And then her helping out other Black country artists was like even cooler to me. So
No, for sure, because you see it now. You got Shabuzi and Willie Jones at the CMA Awards getting actual love, when just 5 years ago they were ready to behead Lil Nas X.
man, what?
It's
Right.
crazy.
Yeah.
So I'm glad to see that. So moving back to the topic of R&B, a lot of I've got the privilege to talk to a lot of R&B artists this season of the podcast, and I like to talk about how how R&B has changed over the years. I DJ on the weekend, so a lot of times when I'm doing like an R&B gig, you dig into the 90s bag. You got Total, SWV, Bobby Brown,
Yeah.
and like it's a completely different vibe from your Summer Walker, SZA, Ari Lennox. So it's like, where do you think, like, how do you feel personally about the evolution of the R&B genre?
Hmm. I feel that people are now realizing, that you don't have to be in just one lane, and they're exercising that in their music and their creativity, and their artistry. And I love that. I do, I feel like music is a timeless thing.
Mm-hmm.
Not everyone has timeless music, but it can be. I feel like 90s R&B and the R&B before, it's just timeless, like almost every record. Whereas now things are kind of like, some is like, oh yeah, that song is perfect. Every time I play it, it still has that same feel. That's 90s R&B. That's R&B, from previous, like 2000s and all that. But now it's like very rare that you hear a timeless R&B record. It's kind of like, oh, this is a vibe, and then it's like over, and you're trying to like, what's next, what's new.
Right.
So I personally, like, I have I have favorite artists who make R&B music where I'm still like, oh yeah, like this is dope. Like Lucky Days, That's You.
Yeah.
And Victoria Monet, some of her, oh my gosh. Yeah, there's Kalani. And yes, there's a bunch of different artists who I wouldn't even put like in a category, because now I feel like there's just so much more room and people are aware of that, which I love. So yeah.
No, for sure. There are a lot of artists that are pushing the boundaries of genres, because I feel like it's just so easy to just, all right, R&B, rap, this, that, and the third. But how do you feel like modern relationships have taken influence over the music that we hear today?
Like people's like love lives, like actual how people are thinking.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, I feel like it's so toxic. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's like as mentally aware as this generation is, it's also kind of like dangerous, because some people are just so happy with being like toxic. And I mean, it's a comfortable feeling, I'm sure, when you're used to something and you're like, I'm gonna be toxic so I don't get my heart broken, and then I'm gonna make a record about how I treat women or I treat men, and it's like, man, this isn't love. Like this is not love. It's relatable for some people, but I personally I like love. Like,
there's not a lot of love in R&B anymore, and I feel like it's definitely reflective of the times, because you go back and listen to the 90s, everyone is talking about how much they love their man or how much they love their woman. Shoot, Luther Vandross in Never Too Much talked about how he was wanting to take off work just to be with his girl. Like they were literally singing and crying in the rain for their significant other. I don't know about you, I haven't seen anybody cry in the rain in years.
I haven't. No, maybe dance, but cry, no. I think that stopped around like 2004 Usher.
Right. No, yeah. Usher has to be the last man to cry in the rain on a video. Maybe Omarion. Was it raining in the Icebox video? I heard that song on the radio the other day. But
it probably was.
But either way, it doesn't happen anymore. I like to say that like a lot of the R&B we hear today is pretty much like you're listening to Twitter.
Yeah. And me personally, I've never been like big on Twitter, on X. What's it called? X?
Yeah, it's X now. That's probably a good thing. It's not a really it's not a good one.
To me, Twitter, X, whatever, child. It's a scary app. I'm like, you can post anything. People can like, nah. You look like you can see people's likes. That's just so weird.
They actually just took that away.
They did?
Yeah, likes are hidden. So.
Oh wow. I just wasn't really big on it. But yeah, this generation with certain things, there's still love out there. You know, there's still people that make that music. It's just the music that's talking about toxicness is like on a platform and in everyone's face. So
no, for sure. How do you feel like social media has changed the way we consume music?
I definitely feel like now people want things quickly, and then as soon as they get it, they're ready for the next thing. They're not even really taking their time anymore, like, if that makes sense, because social media is just such a, you know, you look up something, you get your answer, you do something, or you see a 15-second video and you choose to watch like 5 seconds and you can swipe down and go to the next video. So I feel that social media has definitely changed like how fast this industry is now, and the music, because it's like now people are like, oh, if I can dance to it, it's a hit. Like, you can dance to just about anything, but is it good? Is it? No. So I definitely feel like social media has changed the music industry.
For sure. So how do you use that to make your music stand out in the bunch?
I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't even, when it comes to like, I used to be like, oh, let me make this kind of song when I was in the girl groups. And then we went to like the girl duo with me and Gabby, and I would be writing. I'd just be like, oh, this needs to be something for people. This needs to be something for, I wasn't really deep into who I was yet. I was still learning myself. And now I'm getting more into a place where I'm like, I know who I am, I know what I listen to, and I know the kind of music I want to make. And that starts with me writing from a place of, I'm doing this for me. And that's going to give the most genuine music, the most genuine sound for people to relate to if they do.
No, for sure.
Not every artist works that way. That's just me personally. I'm like, I'm making something for me. It's genuine, and I feel like that will sell better, and then it will catch on. I'm not doing this it's not like an overnight thing for me. I'm like, hey, I'm in this. This is what I want to do. I want, people to see. I want to put this on a platform. So yeah.
I understand that for sure, because I feel like as far as any business goes, if you have a product, you have to know the product inside and out, front and back, side to side, and I feel like as an artist, you are the product. Your music is the product. So how are you going to be able to put something out in the market that you don't believe in?
Exactly.
People can see right through that, I see it all the time. It's like you can like watch people's videos or wherever, you just see in their eyes, this is not something that they personally resonate with. They're just saying it because they think somebody's going to like it.
Yeah, and it's like, of course this industry is, based around money. So I've heard a lot of artists say, I'm not making the kind of music I want to, but I'm making the kind of music that makes money,
Yeah.
Which to me, I'm just such a, I can't with the fakeness. I can't, like, that's just really not me. Like, if I see other artists making music that they want to make and it's still selling, like it's still good because it's genuine and authentic, then why would I sit up here in this studio and waste anybody's time to make something I hate?
Exactly. No, Skilla Baby was just talking about that on our Breakfast Club. He's had hits like Mama and that's going crazy. The ladies love that song. But Bae, gorgeous. He's like, he says he doesn't like making music like that, but it sells. And I got to DJ for him, and like it hit. It's a hit. All the ladies were saying, Yeah, and like, but when I heard him say that, it was like, dang, I wonder how many. He's probably like the only person that I've seen recently to just be honest with the fact that he's just making it because that's what's making the money.
Mm,
you know
yeah.
and a lot, and I feel like you hit the nail right on the head right there. People are a lot of times music has become so commodified that it's more so a dollars race, a race for the dollars, more so than an art form. And I feel like
Yeah.
capitalism has sucked the art and the heart out the music. So it's good to see artists that's trying to put the art back into the art form because we desperately need
I
it.
appreciate that. Yeah.
No problem at all. No problem at all. So, the name 2012, what does that mean for you?
2012 came about because I always say whenever I'm like telling my story, I'm like I officially started at 12 in this industry, but of course I was in before just training for years. So that number would always stick because if I was around my mom and I was like, "Oh yeah, I started at 12," she'd be like, "No, girl, I had you in this and you were doing this and we had." I'm like, "Ma, I started at 12 officially." So I tell people that. So that number would stick out. And I'm now 20 years old. And that was, not gonna lie to you, it was a very like scary feeling to go from like being 19 and then being like, okay, I'm about to be 20. I was like, oh, life. Like it just kind of out of nowhere hit me. I'm like, oh wow, I'm not like a teen no more. I'm growing up. So those numbers were just very significant to me. And my mom and I one day were just like, what if we just 2012? And I was like, oh, that kind of, I like that.
There you go. So, when you hit like 25 or 30, is it going to be like 30-12 and just like keep going up, but every decade?
No, I used to think about that. I was, like, oh, what if I'm like 60 and people, everyone knows my music and I'm still like 20, 20, 20. No, I feel like those numbers will always be significant no matter how old I am. I feel like it was just, those numbers mean a lot to me.
For
So
sure, for sure. I can dig it. I can dig it. Are you big into angel numbers at all?
I, I am. I'm not like really like deep into anything, but I have been like, there was one time where I was waking up at like 5:55 every morning. And or every time I look or pick up my phone, it'd be like 4:44. So I was like, oh wow, why
Right.
this is like weird.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I feel like a lot of it is like coincidence. It looks cool, like written out.
Yeah, it's like, oh my gosh, what does this mean?
Yeah, you can come with
It's like
people come with
three
a lot
different
of
definitions.
no, for sure. People come with a lot of definitions for very arbitrary, very arbitrary things, man. But so for the people who aren't familiar with 2012, if you had to describe yourself in 3 words, what words would you use?
I would definitely say intricate. I would say soulful and eclectic.
I like that. I like that. Any particular why? Any reason why?
Because I'm so young and I get told a lot for my music, like, oh, like you sound older, you just come off so much more mature. And like there's a lot of people who are so used to like the norm of what the industry is now. And I feel like me coming into this industry as 2012, having people be like, oh, that's just not, everyone wants this, everyone wants that. But I'm like, I'm coming in as me and I'm not changing myself. So I'm like, I'm cool with being different. Yeah.
I can dig it. I can dig it. Yeah, because it's the industry can definitely change you. It's a lot of pressures to be like this way or portray yourself in certain ways. So I feel like the truer you stay to yourself, the further you can be because real lasts forever. The fake, it has this moment and it passes, but the real is gonna stick around. So I feel like you keep
Exactly. You can only fake it for so long.
exactly right. You ever wear like a gold plated necklace?
And it starts to tarnish.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm sure you're familiar with Sheen, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we all know Sheen. So look, I'm on there and they had like this crazy deal on like bracelets, right? It was like $2 for a bracelet. I was like, why not? I won that bracelet like one time. It looked amazing. And like the next day it was like brown. I'm like, damn. You know
Oh, wow.
what I'm saying? But look, I got like a real gold that's like it's They ain't been nowhere. You feel me? So it's
Right.
a prime example.
No,
Real
no,
last forever.
that's a good example.
Yeah, it's a real last forever. That fake is gonna come and go for sure, for sure. So, think about me is booming right now. Is that like a lead single that you're pushing? Is it leading to a project? What else can we expect from 2012 and 2024?
It's definitely leading towards a project. It's the open act, I would say, and just the vibe, feel good music. So yeah.
For sure, for sure, for sure. I can dig it, man. So, if people want to check in with you, listen to some of your music, and hear Think About Me or follow you on Instagram, how can they do so?
Everyone can follow my Instagram at 20, the numbers 20, and then TWELVV. And then on all my other platforms, the right way to spell 2012 is I am 20, the numbers, and then Roman numeral 12. And Think About Me will be releasing next week. So you guys get to hear it first.
Awesome, awesome. Well, I'm glad I got to hear it before the world did. Now I feel special.
Yeah.
Lovely, lovely, lovely. Well, 2012, thank you so much for your time. I really did enjoy our conversation today. Can't wait to oh, it was lovely. Can't wait to hear the rest of whatever you got in store for 2024. You're definitely going to go in the playlist for the chill vibes. Most definitely. You've made it.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
No problem at all. Ladies and gentlemen, if you made it this far, thank you so much for listening to YSN Radio, the coolest podcast in the South. Tap in with all the other episodes on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon. Subscribe to us on YouTube at YSN Radio, and check out the website, ysnradio.com. Until next time, same place. It's the coolest podcast in the South. YSN Radio. Let's go.